Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 13th in the magic year of 2022. This podcast is brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender, MLS number 2020. And today with us, our experienced panel, Miss Becky Alley, top 1% of all loan originators in the United States. Good morning, Becky.
What is going on, everyone in Facebook land and listeners of our podcast? Welcome.
It is going on right now with Mr. Harvey Freed, the host of the most 97.1 FM in our 23rd year. Wow, Harvey, on the radio, you, me, Becky, John, Lisa, doing it all day, every Saturday morning from 9 to 10. Mr. Harvey Freed, good morning.
Good morning here. I was going to say it doesn't feel like it's been 23 years, but it has felt like it's been 23 years.
Harvey,
time flies when you're having fun, right?
Wait a minute, Harvey. I've lived with you for over 30, so I didn't have gray hair when I started with you. You know that.
Jeez, sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. At least one or two are attributed to you. Anyways, our special guest today, we will call him affectionately Downriver Donnie Kanja from Dwellings, Michigan Real Estate. He is located out of Wyandotte, Michigan. Donnie, good morning, bud.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on the show. And we're also joined by Lisa Lawson. We call her the Google of the office. Anybody has a question, we generally go to Lisa. Lisa Lawson, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, so let's get into it, Donnie, right away. Listen, we've been doing this collectively. You got about 100 and some years of experience on this podcast this morning. We have never seen a market like it is right now, Donnie. So we got to get your take. What's it like rolling out in the real estate market down in Wyandotte, Downriver, with Downriver, Donnie? What are the experiences you're having right now?
Right now, the market's still up. The market's still going crazy. Inventory is still low. It's a great time to be a seller right now.
So you love the market the way it is right now. You love a seller's market. You probably, if you had a lot of homes to sell, how many buyers are you working with, and what's the action like on the buyer side right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, listings are like gold right now. And so I have about 6 buyers right now, and I can hardly find anything for them right now. I mean, and when we do find something, we're in a multiple offer situation.
So Becky, you're down there. You're down there with Donnie. You guys are working hand in hand every day. And you and I talk, email, text every single day, multiple times a day. And it's like the more things change right now, the more things stay the same. You know, we're hustling. You're hustling every day with Donnie. I saw some purchase agreements come across my desk from you yesterday. What are you seeing? What's going on there right now, day to day, hour by hour?
Yeah, I mean, what Donnie's saying is like, you know, obviously if there's any listings out there, I mean, as an agent, that's what you're kind of going for, but we're needing them to actually get out there and shake those trees, because right now the agents are working the hardest they've ever worked on both trying to come up with listings and on the buy side, right? But the buyers, it is tough out there, but offers are getting accepted, and more so than ever, whose name's on that pre-approval does matter. We talk about it a lot of the time. I got a phone call yesterday morning, said, hey, I have a buyer. They're looking at my listing. I don't like the lender that is on the pre-approval. I want to get a second pair of eyes on it. Are you available, Becky, to connect with this buyer? Absolutely. I'll take a look at it. And it was, thank the Lord that I did, because what was on that pre-approval was a conventional buyer, and it was never going to be a conventional buyer. It was FHA all day long. You know, on the lower end of those credit scores that we're able to do with FHA, you can go as low as a 580. You do not have to have perfect scores. However, I was confidently able to say, this is an FHA buyer. I can close it. And we're able to, you know, get that turned over into an accepted offer for the buyer, simply because when you're working with people with expertise, that's what sets apart your buyers in this market where it's saturated.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, Donnie and Becky, and going to you, Lisa, from Donnie and Becky, Lisa, turn times right now for lenders, not a big deal. All lenders can turn loans pretty quickly. Obviously, the proof's in the pudding. We have to have all the documents up front. And if you're not getting documents up front, when you're pre-approving people today, Lisa, you're not doing the client, the buyer, the seller any justice at all. And you're certainly not doing Donnie any justice, Lisa. Right now, Lisa, we're talking about, you and I had a fantastic discussion yesterday in your office about programs that are coming on the market right now. What is separating us, Lisa, from all the other lenders out there?
Yeah, so there's some programs coming up, and I don't want to get everybody too excited yet. So we're going to keep those kind of darkly, or those.
But it is so exciting.
It is.
It's hard.
We got to wait
it.
one more week, and we can spill the beans. But it's very exciting stuff. But the root of all of it is documentation and true underwrites. So kind of like Becky's story right there, where she was talking about, hey, we got this conventional approval, but obviously she knew when she pulled credit and reviewed the file, they were never going to be a conventional buyer. Guess what? When you get an underwrite from us and you get an approval from us, there's no question. It's already gone to an underwriter. They've credit, income, asset verified, employment verified, the entire file. We're just really waiting for, at this point, title work and a property. So it makes a very, very, very strong buyer. And a lot of us get the documentation up front all the time anyway. We don't do pre-qualification here. It's not really our thing, because too many things can come up in the mix. And we want to be sure that when you have an approval from us, it will close. Just like agents don't want to be wasting their time, buyers don't want to waste their time and resources either. No buyer wants to run around looking at properties for 2 months to find out, once they make their first offer, that they're not even eligible to finance anything at this time. So we're trying to do due diligence and making sure all the ducks are in the row well in advance.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And I know Donnie does. And this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. We are joined by Downriver Donnie Conja from Dwellings, Michigan Real Estate.
I love it. Downriver's in the house.
Yeah, in the house. Wyandotte, Michigan. Donnie. So Donnie, what we're doing to separate ourselves, we don't, like Lisa said, we don't do pre-qualifications. We underwrite loans here up front. We utilize our years and years of experience. We don't have transactions flip. When we tell somebody they're approved. We'll put it in writing. That's how we separate ourselves with our experience. What are you doing? Because it's all about you, Donnie, on this podcast. What are you doing right now to separate yourself from the others?
So what I do and separate from the others for my listing appointment, I offer free staging. I offer free professional photography, free marketing. I do an MHVA, which stands for Maximum Home Value Assessment. I go in there and see if I can talk to the seller, say, hey, change this light fixture, change this doorknob, paint this wall. I make this house. When I show a house, I'm gonna show it like it's gold. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it high. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and what do Donnie? What are your sellers doing a little bit different now? I know it's a seller's market, but they still have to clean up the house. They still have to, straighten everything up, give everything off the floor, make it look like. So when people come in, it's got to be staged properly, right, Donnie? I mean, you just can't open a door and see a bunch of laundry on the floor.
100%. It's got to be. I always tell them, I'm going to clean the house, get rid of all the stuff you don't need, put it in storage, garage. We're going to make it look great. That's what we do. We're a concierge service at my brokerage, and I go above and beyond for my clients. Sometimes they can't do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's it. Hey, Harvey Freed, you do that too, right? You go ahead, you run documents, you pick documents up. We consider ourselves, and I love the term. I really do, that Dwellings Michigan Real Estate uses. If you go all over their website, they talk about concierge service. Okay, Harvey, we know what concierge service is. Translated, concierge service is that person will do whatever it takes for their client, Harvey Freed, and give them the ultimate in customer service. Harvey Freed, you've been doing this now a little over 30 years. Aren't you running around metropolitan Detroit meeting people everywhere, morning, noon, and night?
Yeah, after 30 years, Harry, the service means, when you want to provide that kind of service, means you want to answer your phone call. The top 10% of the real estate agents, the top 10% of the lenders out there, and the people that have been around a long time, they know it's all about communication, fast answers, and really keeping the transaction moving in the right direction. Just like any file, there's going to be some hiccups along the way. When you hire a professional team, they can answer those questions quickly, honestly, and accurately. And that's what's important to get your offer accepted. You better have those professionals all working for you.
I love that term, Becky, concierge service. And we kind of like use that we're a boutique mortgage banker, right? Boutique, concierge. It's all analogous to giving the highest quality of service, treating people like you would want to be treated. Becky, got to tell the story. We're on the phone 10:30 at night. We're emailing, we're texting. Becky's sending me appraisals. We're doing whatever we got to do, Donnie, Downriver Donnie, for our clients, just like you are. And a long time ago, Becky, somebody wrote a piece about capital mortgage funding and what we do for our clients. And they basically said, we're never too big to getting out of doing line level work. And I took that as a compliment. I'm never going to stop. And I know we will. Everybody on here, Lisa, Harvey, Downriver Donnie, and you, we're running around every day for our clients because we like it and because we know that's what separates us, right, Beck?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to say about Donnie is what sets him apart. Not only is it his attention to detail, but he is a hustler. Okay. Like, make no question about it. He's being modest. I mean, literally, he's going to be under the radar. He's not going to announce his next move. You're going to see his next move, right? And that's going to be with his closed transactions. So he is really good about backing up what he says, but he's not out here being braggadocious about it, right? He's going to put up a piece of plywood. He's going to paint the railing if you need to for his sellers, if they don't want to do it, in order to make sure that you can get top-notch financing, whether it's conventional, FHA, right? And that translate into who we want to work with, because we are the same. I'm showing up at someone's house at 9:30 getting documents out of their mailbox because their scanner isn't working. I will never be too big to show up at a closing, to show up at an open house. I don't care what my level of transactions are for the rest of my life. I'm just never going to be that arrogant ever, neither, and no one else is here. And even with the professionals in this industry that listen to our podcast, that listen to our radio show, that even want to be in the closet listening to our stuff, we're literally schooling you every week on the things to do. And make no mistake about it, they're taking on the things that we are saying that we do because you hear about it, right? And that's flattering to us. It's very flattering. And it's flattering to work with someone like Donnie in this business that shines himself in the best light for his clients. And it just, we're a reflection of each other in this industry, and who you work with matters. And I can't say that enough.
Yeah, one of the many phenomenal stories about being in this business a long time and working with like-minded people is that somebody years ago, they called me a grinder. That's a grinder. And I was young. I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was a negative term. I thought they were really throwing shade on me. I didn't know what that meant. But you know what a grinder is? A grinder gets things done. A grinder's just working, putting their head down every day, going out there and doing what it takes every single day. And yeah, I'm a grinder. I embrace that now. And this person, and the true story is, Lisa, before I get off this topic and go to you, is that I didn't like this person very much. So when they called me a grinder, I had a bad attitude toward them. I thought they were saying something negative, Donnie, against me. But they weren't. They were trying to get in my good graces by complimenting me. So now I embrace it. I still don't like the person, but that's just me.
It's like one of those things.
I don't like them, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's like one of those things.
Compliment, right? Hey, Lisa.
Yeah. I don't understand what you said, so I'm going to take it as an insult.
Yeah. Wait, I don't like you. You called me something that I'm too young enough and immature not to know what it means. So it's got to be negative, right? Okay. But I've changed my attitude. It's all good. I'm a grinder. I embrace it. I wear it. I'm a grinder. Grinders get things done. Lisa Lawson, I saw an article that kind of bothered me the other day. It said, the title of the article was, Mortgage Credit Remains Tight. Are you kidding me? I couldn't disagree with that more, Lisa Lawson.
Yeah, so I disagree.
Going totally. To you first, there are more programs out there now than ever, right?
More programs out there than ever, more down payment assistance programs out there than ever. There's loan programs as low as 580 FICOs And that's standard. We're not talking getting an exception for a 580. That's 580 FHA standard. So no, I would say, how many years ago? Was it a year ago? About a year and a half ago, it was 600. Before that, it was 620. So no, credit is actually loosening, not getting tighter. Now, what is getting tighter is inventory. So obviously that affects the amounts of closings because there's not enough properties to physically buy that people want to. So the numbers might be a little stagnant compared to years past, but that's really an inventory issue, not a credit issue, because we've got money to give. We want people in new homes. We want people to refinance if it makes sense for them. And we're ready and waiting.
Hey, Harvey, to piggyback off that, you're doing more homework, more research than you've ever had in 30 some years. There are mortgage programs out there, new ones. What are your favorite mortgage programs to put people into?
Well, in general, Harry, we want to work with people's credit scores. The best loan program out there is based on what that individual can qualify for. So FHA provides a really interesting thing, allowing families to have high back end ratios up to 54%. And again, everyone's situation is so different today. I wish more families would look upon mortgages as not as a cookie cutter commodity, but as an individual personal relationship you have with a mortgage banker. So if you happen to buy a house here in 2022 where the interest rates are higher, what's your plan in maybe in the next 2 or 3 years to refinance it to a shorter term, to get rid of the PMI, and then also to have someone that you can rely on who has that experience to tell you when and where you need to switch your mortgage. And then like kicking it back to Downriver Donnie, I love having Donnie on. One of the things that I'm seeing is really these strong offers, the escalation clause. I'm looking at a purchase agreement right here. They keep winning offers in Florida because this agent is very strong and understands how to use the escalation clause. And pretty much every offer they put in, now they haven't passed inspection, but these houses are getting accepted offers. And again, reverting back to that, make sure that inspection is really good.
Yeah, let's move into that, Downriver Donnie. Here we have everybody. Donnie Conja from Dwellings Michigan Real Estate, located in Wyandotte, Michigan. Donnie, what are you seeing and what are you putting into purchase agreements right now? Talk about escalation clauses, appraisal contingencies, pass-fail inspections. What are you doing?
I'm definitely using the escalation clause. Definitely using the appraisal guarantee. 30 days occupancy, maybe 60 days. I also inspection only for information purposes. I'll never tell my clients to waive the inspection. We'll do it just for information purposes. And I am winning deals, but some people, it depends on the clients. If they have the money, if they don't have the money, you got to work with their budget.
Yeah, it's harder out. There's no question. You got to be more competitive. But if you're doing all those things, and Becky, you heard what Donnie said, right? Not advocating to waive an inspection. Why not? Just do a pass fail. I like that. Don't use it for renegotiation purposes. I've had 10 cups of coffee this morning. I'm all jacked up. And when he said he does not advocate waiving inspections, that warms my heart, Becky Alley.
I mean, yeah, you have to be smart. You can't get desperate in this market, even though you do want your buyers to win. If your buyers are going to win because they waived a property inspection, okay, well, then you better make sure you're having that conversation, like he's saying, that not only do they have the money to go above and beyond, but do they have the money to go above and beyond should something come up on this property? Because if someone is taking your offer because you're waiving the property inspection, that means there's something going on with that property, most likely that they're not wanting to address themselves. So be honest with yourself and be honest with your clients, right? Because that's what it comes down to. And you're not fooling anyone, right? We all know what's going on if you're accepting that offer. So just make sure the buyers are well informed of why your offer was standing out, why it was accepted, and make sure they have the money to deal with that, because it's really expensive to dig up some floors if you got some issues with your drain pipes in the basement. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's great advice. And somebody texted me and they said, "Hey, Harry, I heard," this was yesterday, right? You're going to love this. They texted me and they said, "Hey, Harry, small victory for mortgage rates today. I heard rates are going down." Okay, wait a minute. Watch this move. So wait a minute. We have to discuss this. I'm going to start this off with Lisa, go to Harvey, Donnie. Guys, listen to me. Panel, everybody listening out there in real estate, mortgage banking, residential, commercial, business, rates are not going down. As a matter of fact, there's more of a propensity for mortgage interest rates to go through 6% than they are going to go down to 4%. So whatever incremental gain you get on a day-to-day basis, we are past that threshold. I'm not yelling, I'm just talking loud because I'm extremely passionate about this conversation. The answer is this: set your sights on what's real and not what is fiction. What's real is they're going to either stay the same where they are or go up rather than go down significantly. Lisa Lawson.
Yeah, I would say if their say rates are going down, that would be fake news. I'm sorry. It's just not real. It's just fake news. You know, I try to explain to people, it's not a perfect like line. It's not straight. It's a jagged line. It goes up and down, up and down, but the overall trend is up. So yes, you may have had a day where it dipped a tiny little bit, but that doesn't mean rates are going down. The trend is increasing. You may have got lucky on a day, but you can't bank on that. And we haven't had days where they've gone down very many in the past, 90 days. We've had 4 or 5, maybe out of 90. So you cannot bank on that. You don't know when you're buying your house. You don't know when your offer is getting accepted. So listen to the experts, get in, get locked, discuss whether buying points makes sense for you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but have that conversation with your loan officer, get her done and move on.
So that's the key, Harvey Freed. We have to set expectations. If people just want to talk about interest rates right now, that is not a winning conversation. They've got to move off the topic of interest rate. As a matter of fact, the best way I can describe it is through a sports analogy, Harvey Freed. It goes like this. If you are going to lay money on long term, if rates are going to go up or go down, I say put your money on up. That will end every discussion, Harvey Freed, about mortgage interest rates.
Yeah, it's the conversation of mortgage rates is obviously part of home buying process, but a very small part of it here is because most of our family members, most of our clients, we have a 30-year history of this, have only kept the mortgage for about an average of 4 years anyways. Why have they only kept it for 4 years? They moved, they got divorced, there was death, they refinanced to a shorter term. There will be opportunities to probably change your mortgage in the future. So the mortgage is your house payment. Back in the day, we used to say, the higher the interest rate, the more tax write-off you have. Well, consult your CPA because those tax laws have changed a little bit, but it's a lot more important to find out all the other, so much more important ancillary things about purchasing a home. Of course, the inspection, the knowledge of the home, the neighborhood, the location, having a professional realtor point those out, having a professional lender point out, don't get hung up on the small stuff. Look at the big picture, I think is a real good key to home success. And again, reach out to Donnie. He's sort of an old-fashioned guy, I could tell, where he's going to get right to the meat and bones and say, look, this is the reason why you need this house and how it's going to work for you.
Yeah, Donnie, we're going to take it around the horn because we're going to wrap it up by noon today. But I want to give you one of the last words. Talk about any new listings you have coming up. Talk about any kind of experience that you had right now. And let's talk about where you see your business within the next 60, 90, 120 days.
Yeah, I do have a listing coming up at the end of the month. That's 26605 Allen Road in Woodhaven. It's going to go for $275, 3 bedrooms. It sits on an acre and a half land. Nice house, nice ranch. My business, I think spring and summer, I'm hoping more houses pop up. We're getting ready for those, kids moving school days, getting, summertime. And I think, my business is going to be up. The interest rate doesn't scare me. I don't think it scares the buyers. I'm going to tell them just like how Harvey said it. Hey, it's just for 4 years. Refinance later. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's great advice because right now you got to control what you can control. Rates are going to go up. There's, again, like I said, more propensity for them to go to 6% than there is 4%. I mean, obviously that's true. But I think if we have that discussion with people and set those expectations up front, Becky Ellie, give us your final thoughts for today.
Yeah, the interest rates are what they are, right? We're not losing buyers and our clients are not going to lose houses, but it's important to have those conversations and letting them know what the payments are going to be, right? So if someone wants to stay around a $1,200 payment, then they probably don't need to look at a 240 house because your payment's going to be 16 to 1,700, right? So it's all about that upfront conversation. And if you're working with a lender that you feel like they don't have the time for you, or they're a little bit rude and aggressive, then you need to move on, because this isn't that time where anyone should be rude. If anything, we have to be coming together and we're here to help you. So rent is no longer a viable option. Rents are going up. Just real quick, I spoke to someone that's renting right now. Their payment is going up over $300. So she reached out to me and said, it made sense for this amount of time, but now it's time for me to invest in my future. I believe that I can still own something for the same amount, or maybe a little bit less, at what they're going to be pushing their rent on me. And that is very, very true. There's a million programs out there. We have some really, really great ones coming down that we can't speak on just yet, but down payment assistance is going to be key for a lot of people to get in there to be able to afford these homes. And we are the lender to do it.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Lisa Lawson.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Becky, you don't know what you don't know. So some people think they can't afford a home, or they have to be renters for the rest of their life, or maybe they had a credit hiccup 5 years ago and they think that's going to, ruin their chances. And that's not the case. Give us a call. We'll help. Everybody here on this panel works on maximizing credit scores prior to closing. So it's a process. You might start out as an FHA approval, but you could end up with a conventional approval after a couple months. We all do it. That's what we're here to do. Rely on our expertise, and we'll help you through it.
Excellent, Lisa. Mr. Harvey Freed, host of the most 97.1 FM Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10. Harvey Freed.
The one thing I want to stress to any buyer out there, or someone who's thinking about getting into home mortgages, is talk to different people, talk to us, and find out how the conversation's different. Find out how we can help build your confidence and give you some additional knowledge. And we're willing to match or beat anyone's deal out there. But a lot of times we got to teach you the more important stuff to make sure that you're making a great investment.
I love it, Harvey. And listen, everybody who's listening to the podcast, watch the show, Facebook Live, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show with Becky Alley, Harvey Freed, Lisa Lawson, John Cole, myself, special guests every single week in the real estate, mortgage, appraisal, title, legal industries are on the show. We're doing it for 23 years on the radio, bring you great consumer advocacy advice. This show is produced by the one and only Roberto Beauchene. He's the man behind the curtain. He produces it. He directs it. Roberto, give a quick shout out to you. And Mr. Harvey Freed, a friend of ours, is in the hospital right now. Wayne Lusky from Gardner Street in Oak Park, a street that you grew up on. Duke, I know you're watching. I know you're listening. We wish you nothing but the best. We love you and we want you to recover. And I'll be talking to you soon. And everybody out there, Donnie Kanja, Downriver Donnie from Dwellings, Michigan Real Estate. He's been our guest. This has been the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show for Wednesday, April 13th. Everybody out there, listen, we can get it done for you. Donnie will get it done for you. Everybody, we're here to win it for you, and we're grinding it out for you every single day. And we'll talk to you soon.